Hi, I'm Andrew,
Hi, I'm Joy.
and welcome to the Joyfully Golden podcast.
All right.
Good morning and happy Tuesday, Joy. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Andrew. Happy Tuesday to you too. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about letting things be. And so, as we dive into it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about letting it be, letting things be?
It's this little quote, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. And it's being able to it's an understanding where when we're letting things be, that means, even like the serenity prayer, grant me the serenity to change the things I can, the ability to accept the things I cannot change.
That's good.
And then the wisdom to know the difference. It's knowing when to just let it go.
Absolutely. That's good. That's really good. I think, I don't know if it's a quote that I've heard, something that I read, or just something that has been bubbling in the back of my mind. But I think of letting things be, getting out of this illusion that we actually have control. I advocate for for understanding that you're in charge of making choices and that your choices directly affect what you become, what you obtain in life. But at the same time, thinking that you have full control of this crazy wild journey called life is an illusion. And I think when I think of letting it be or letting things be, I think of snapping out of that illusion and understanding that at the end of the day, you can only do your best, and after that, the things are just not in your hands to control. You just gotta roll with the punches. There's all these expressions that we have. You just have to learn to flow with life. Because when I think of life, I think of a river. You can affect the current of the river. You can direct it to somewhere else, but you cannot stop it. And that's you can't control it and put it to a halt. And that's what I think about when I think of letting it be. And so I always like to kind of like connect the dot as far as like why it's important to talk about this. So how about sharing with our audience a reason why you feel like letting things be might be an important virtue or an important state of mind to cultivate for you personally?
So for me personally, I can think of a story, personal experience where I had to accept the things as the way they are so that I can decide how to keep moving forward. I was working on my Eagle Scout project. I was 17. You have to get it for Boy Scouts. You had to get everything done before you're 18. You have to turn in your project and all that before your 18th birthday. I was 17. It was February. My birthday's in March. And I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of run down of time. So my Eagle Scout project was to build like this bird aviary thing for Fresno Wildlife. And I was like, okay, it's going to take like 2.5 days. I had it all planned out. Everything's set up. Took 2.5 weeks, not 2.5 days. There were a lot of times where I went to go to work on the project, and there was all these delays. There were pieces that weren't long enough. There were things that broke, people that couldn't show up. And I just had to keep letting what wasn't working, just accept that. It's like, okay, now what? I didn't have time because I was almost 18 to get upset. And it was just... Here's the problem. Okay, let that be. How do we fix it now? Okay, well, now we go this way. What's the next thing we can do? And being in this space of acceptance for, not in the sense of accepting, well, this is wrong and okay, that's just how it is and now I can't go anywhere. But it was more of letting it be that doesn't change my goal. Anything that affected, nothing was going to stop the outcome from happening. That's my thought process behind it. So I was able to let any interruption or setback just be that what it was, a temporary thing, and get through it. How about you?
Oh wow, that's really good. I can't think of a specific story. I feel like just my whole life is just a constant learning and struggle to let things be. Because you know me. And most people who know me, really, really know me, do know that there's a certain aspect of my personality that loves to be in control of the outcome. Because I love being able to work for what I want. I love the idea and the concept that I can just work my butt off. I can discipline myself, go after what I want, and accomplish it. As long as I abide within a certain set of rules. And so there's that, and the constant other side of the equation of the fact that there's so much that I can't control. There is so much that I have absolutely zero power over. So there's this ongoing, constant battle with everything. But I can say, as far as my personal journey with that issue or with that concept, one thing that has helped me a lot, I feel like tremendously get better at it, at least moving forward, has been just the ability to understand that things work for my good. Like at the end of the day, things are not happening to me necessarily, but things are happening for me. And I think that has changed drastically how hard I've been fighting, to maintain this illusion of control. Because I think if you have the feeling or the notion that everything's happening against you to slow you down, to hurt you, and things like that, you only keep trying to reobtain that control because you feel like it will be better in your hands, and then you spend your entire life chasing something you cannot actually achieve. But when you realize that at the end of the day, or in reality, things aren't happening against you, the world is not spinning to hurt you, or like there's oxygen on this planet just to make your life miserable. In fact, things are actually happening for you to move you forward, to help you grow, to help you learn, to help you connect to people, to help you move forward. It helps you give up a little bit of that control more easily, because then what you don't understand, you can have a positive interpretation for, and that puts you at ease. Because it's like, I may not understand why this happened or why that happened, but at the end of the day, I know this is going to help me somehow. Somehow I'm going to be 5-10 years down the road, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, oh, that's what it happened. Okay. And then I'm going to use it to move forward. And I think that understanding has helped me a lot. There's a speech that I heard once by, I believe it was Steve Jobs. He was talking about how the dots in life do not make sense when you look at them forward, when you're heading forward, but when you look back, you can see the thread and they all connect almost magically. And to me, that's what I think about when I think of letting things be. It's like this new dots, this new situation in the moment may make zero sense. I may not be able to grasp, to understand it, to see the good or any good in it, but the understanding that as I move forward, eventually I will be able to look back and see how the whole thread connects. That helps me give up the control. That helps me just take it one day at a time, do the best that I can, and what I cannot do, what I cannot control, just let it be.
So it's almost this matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
and then
go.
Your attitude within the circumstances, because
Absolutely.
I agree that in the way that we can have the best laid plans for the day, for our life, for our journey, and sometimes things will happen that are beyond our control, but the one constant that we can always control is our response to the circumstances that we face.
Absolutely.
And so with having this perspective of realization that the world's really not out to get you. Like, I agree with that, that we're able to confront and address everything as it arises. And then just that. Because the past is done.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not here. So that's why it's a gift, and they call it the present,
Absolutely.
right? So that's what we want to focus on. What are some of the ways that you've learned to let things be?
I think one of the ways I've learned to learn things be is, I guess, appreciate the small things, I guess, because when you think about it, there's a certain amount of things, and of course it comes back to the perspective, I guess. So there's a certain amount of things in life that we can control, like we can control our attitude, we can control our responses to things, we can control how much work we put into something. If we give 100% or 50%, we can control how kind we are to other people. We can control what we do with our money, what we do with our time. If you spend enough time focusing on the things you can control and less time focusing on the things you cannot control, letting it be becomes much easier. Because when you think about it, is it's almost like there's a story, right, about a farmer. There's many farmer stories now I think about it, but one specifically in which there was one farmer who was pretty much complaining about the fact that there hadn't been rain in so long, and it was just frustrated because he was like, we're in this drought, there's no rain, what is going to be there's no rain, what is going to be happening to the crops, what is going to be happening if I was to plant, there hasn't been raining forever, so what's even the point of doing this? And it was just in this negative place in which it was focusing so hard on what he couldn't make happen, which was the rain, that he didn't do anything, because all his energy was going towards being mad, sad, depressed for the fact that even if he had spent time planning things or preparing for anything, there hasn't been raining forever. So it almost felt pointless. And there was this other farmer, our buddy, who looked at everything that was going on and said, well, there hasn't been rain in forever, in few years. And I could be wasting my time planning right now. But I'm a farmer, and all I can do is plant. So I'm going to go ahead and plant anyways. I'm going to put the seed in the ground anyway. And if it rains, sure, I get the reward. And if it doesn't, it's okay. But at least I get to focus on what I can do. And guess what? In this story, eventually a few months down the road, the rain did come. That was out of control of both of them. And what happened? The one who was focusing on the rain, actually wasn't able to benefit from the rain when it comes. But the one who was able to focus on what he could do was able to reap the benefits from the rain when it came. And so I hope that story kind of triggers people to realize that every single day we wake up in this life and world, and so much is out of our control. What is happening across the world right now, the negativity that's on the street right now, what someone is saying, what's on social media, all those things. Like, we can't control what is happening all over the world.
Yeah, people try.
Yeah. People try, unfortunately.
And they get very upset about
and
it.
They get upset, they get frustrated. But you can control what you put in front of your eyes. You can control what you put in your ears. You can control what you put in your body. You can control what you say, how you respond to things. And the more time we spend focusing on the things we can control and have control over, the less time we're going to be spending on the things we cannot control. And letting it be is going to become a way of life. Because ultimately, I believe that's where the ultimate peace is found. When you know what you can be in control of, spend your time and energy working on it and actually doing the best you can, being a steward of those things. And everything else that you cannot control, you don't waste your life trying to. Because you are not built for it. And so personally, that's one of the things that does help me walk that journey, of peace and of letting it be,
I like it.
How about you? Is there anything that you do?
So I really like what you said. And I think for me, it was something that I've learned over the scope of, from being a kid, was always wanting to do things. So I was like, I want to go here. I want to go do this. I want to hang out with this person. I want to travel. I want to have these things. And it was always this desire. And it took a while, probably till like maybe early high school, or really my Eagle Scout project was one of the first, like, this is the goal and I need to have this done by this date to do. And it made it work to where I was able to really focus on, okay, what can I actually do? And being able to separate the things that maybe I wanted to do that I probably couldn't do either at that time or at all versus what can I actually get done in that day. And so it's been this constant practice for me, because I'm still working on it, on focusing on the day-to-day, what can I actually do?
That's good.
And then at the end of the day, regardless of what I have or haven't done, accept that I did what I could. And if I know I could have done better, well, then do better. And then don't get beat up about it. It's like climbing. Like if I climb a route and I mess up and I don't get to the top, I don't go, oh my gosh, that's it, I'm done, no more. The end, you messed up. It's like, no, you keep going, going. So it's putting into practice the simple, all I can do is focus on today. You can plan for tomorrow, that's fine, but just being in the moment and focusing on today.
That's good.
I work on just what is it that I could do, and then like you said, like, What am I putting in my body? What am I listening to? What am I looking at? Who am I surrounding myself with? There are going to be people right now in your life that will tell you what's wrong. Because that's what they focus on. There will be people in your life who apparently aren't worried about anything. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how responsible they are. And there will be the people in your life where every time that you do talk to them, they're always at the next step. They're always at the next level, because these certain people in our lives have figured out, I need to take care of me. And that's the thing that's helped me the most, is learning to just take care of me and what I need to do. What do I need to focus on? Because we spend a lot of time, and I've seen this in relationships and people that I've had, that I know who have had relationships where they're focusing too much on the other person. Oh, what is this person doing? Or why are they going over here? Why is he doing this? Why is she saying that? Why are they spending this, doing that? It's focus on yourself. Don't worry about what the other person's doing, because that's not you. And part of letting things be is accepting that other people are going to do what they're going to do, because we can't control other people.
That's good.
You can only control your actions, your thoughts, your beliefs, what you do. And how you address that will greatly impact the things that come into your life. So for me, to really sum up everything I just said, it's letting others take care of themselves and focusing on what is it that I need to do for me. Because say I want to help somebody, but I'm not taking care of myself. Then how can I help them if I don't take care of myself? Right?
Go. Yeah.
So we got to focus on ourselves, and then knowing that if somebody lets you down or something that you planned didn't come through, okay, now what? And that's the thing that I ask myself. When things go wrong, I go, okay, now what? Because it's acceptance, resolution.
Nice.
Because it's, I'm not going to let this thing that didn't happen that either I wanted or all of a sudden was unexpected stop me from this forward progress. So again, it's, okay, this happened. Now what is my response?
That's good.
And I think by taking that few seconds to think about and absorb what's happening and process it, it allows me to avoid poor responses to situations, whether it's someone treating me unkindly or something bad happening. Am I perfect at it? No. But has it helped a lot? Yes. And I think that perspective is really what it comes down to, is the perspective of there are these situations in our lives oftentimes are out of our own control. So we have to have this understanding and acceptance that we're going to go through life not having everything work out, but that's okay.
That is
because the world is happening for us, not
Absolutely.
to us,
Yeah.
like you said.
That's really good. And I think as we just maybe start wrapping up here, I really want to just share, and I would like for you to share too, if you have a couple of one of, in my opinion, the biggest advantages or the biggest gifts that you get and receive once you live this life of letting things be and not obsessing over things you can't control, is you get the gift of actual living life. Because here are your options, right? You can sit around and think of all these things that you cannot control, obsess about them, get upset about them, get sad, depressed, oversaturated with negativity over them, and actually feel like that's life, feel like you're doing something when you're actually not. You're just obsessing over what you cannot control. Or the other alternative is to get out there, do what you can, exercise your will, your strength, your skills, your gifts over what you actually can control and do, and actually live life. Because it's I mean, you know me, I am afraid of wasting time, because we are running out of time. Some people live like they're gonna live forever. I know I'm not gonna live forever. So I want to make the best of my time, and a part of making the best of my time, I know I cannot waste days, months, and years worrying about what I cannot control. I've done that. I've been too guilty of that in my past, and I'm not gonna do it again, because it doesn't feel good. It's unproductive, and it's so wasteful of precious breath, precious life, and just precious time, you know. And so one of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, that you get from living a life of just letting things be and rolling with that, is to actually live life, to actually live, and every single day actually live, instead of, you know, just focusing on all these things that you can control. So I feel like that's been one of the biggest gifts to me personally in my own life. And I truly believe that anyone who decides today that they're gonna be, they're gonna evolve to the other side of this fence, that they're gonna stop focusing on all the things they cannot control and start putting the energy in what they can control and be the best stewards of those things, I honestly think it's gonna change their life, because it changed mine. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'll leave it with this. This while you were talking, this is the thing I thought of. Imagine a boat. You're in a boat, and I've read this, heard this multiple times. So you're in this boat, and you're on the water, and your life, your mental state, who you are, is the buoyancy of the boat. And life is everything outside the boat. All life's problems, negativity, everything. This is the water. When the water's outside the boat, you're okay.
That's good. Yeah.
But the moment you let the external problems that usually don't have anything to do with you, or there are the things that you can't control, into your boat, then you start sinking.
That's good.
Then it's hard to move forward.
That's good.
So you got to realize, and the bucket's the realization, hey, I'm letting this water in my boat. Get it out, get it out. And then who's on your boat? Because sometimes people in your life are making holes in your boat, and they're just causing you more problems. You say, no, get off the boat. Here, bye, get out. So don't let things sink your boat. You know, stay afloat, stay on top of life, because no matter how bad the world may seem at times, or circumstances outside of you, as long as you're okay with you and you can accept where you are, nothing outside can hurt you.
That's good. That's so good. Thank you so much for our listeners, for everyone who watched and everyone who listened. Have a joyfully golden week, and we'll see you in the next episode.